all of the above, can you like or comment below? We are trying to figure out if we are live and working. We've had a bit of technical difficulties this evening. If I am live, if you can. Okay, we are live. Okay, I see myself live. Am I live? Please tell me I'm live. Am I live? I just want to go live. I want to go live to the world. One comment. It's working. I can hear. Yay. Christina, still with us? Yay, everybody's with us. Okay, I'm so excited. You guys, I have said this speech like 5 times, maybe 10. I don't know. For all of you that were subjected to my face in different freeze screens, I apologize. But thank you so much for finally joining us. And we are live, and this is great. And we're 20 minutes late, but that's okay. We had technical difficulties. So here we are. Hello, everyone. I'm Brianne, and I'm here with Kiinde tonight, and we are going to bring to you live our thanks for all the hearts, guys, because it was kind of stressful there, but I appreciate all the love, and so glad that everyone's joining us. As most of you know, we've had the Be Kind to Yourself show for the last couple months, and I have loved my journey with all of you, providing you support and education and expertise through all of the people that I have brought onto the show. But we took your feedback, and you guys said you wanted to hear from our team, and you wanted to hear real life stories, and you wanted to learn and know us. So we have launched our show tonight called The Boob on Monday nights, the third Monday night of the month. And we'll also do a live on the first Monday night as well. And we are going to bring you just real life talk. So we are going to tell our stories. We are going to share with you expert advice as lactation providers. And we're also going to put on our mom hats. And again, just kind of talk real life. So first tonight, I want to talk about our giveaways. So as some of you know, if you joined our shows in the past, we give away a free a free starter pack. And so this is our starter pack here. See our box. So you can click the link below to get your free starter pack. And with this starter pack, you are, the only thing we ask is you pay $6 shipping. And so with that, it's really going to let you try our system out. And so as some of you know, we have our milk storage pouches that screw directly onto your pump. So whatever pump plans you have, whether Medela, Spectra, Baby Buddha, Amida, you would screw the pouch right on. And then when it's time to store the milk, after you're done pumping, just screw the cap and store it. And then when it's time to feed, you'll snap it right into the bottle like this. And then attach our nipple, or you can use the adapter for a different nipple, and feed directly from the bottle. So all you have to watch in the end is this one nipple. The pouch goes in recycling, and then you just have the holder that sits out. So all you have to do is wash one nipple, no transferring of milk, no going back and forth from bottle to bag and bag to bottle, and no washing of all those dishes. So great for moms, dads, and babies to not lose that liquid gold. So all of this tonight is going to be in this starter pack that you can get for free with $6 shipping, along with 2 coupons. So one coupon will be for 40 free pouches, and the other coupon will give you our entire gift set for 50% off. So that's going to only be $49.99, which will give you all of our bottles, our nipples, storage rack, warmer, and everything you need to pump, store, warm, and feed, all in one gift set. So check that out tonight. Click the link below, and we're going to be giving away one of those for every mom that joins us tonight. One of our other partnerships that we are partnering with is Tit for Tot, and it is a breastfeeding pumpy emoji app. And it has really been super fun to use them. And so Tit for Tot, they are going to be giving away some of their free app registrations. So we're going to list those codes below, or we pick a winner to receive those codes. And then our last giveaway for the night will be Newbie Box. And so it is a nursing box that is a subscription program. And so we're going to be giving away 2 of those boxes tonight, and we'll list some more information below as well. And then if we continue to get lots of likes and lots of hearts and lots of shares, lots of love. We are going to give away one of our entire gift sets tonight. So stay tuned for all of that. First, we're going to start by introducing ourselves and then going into our topic this month, which is postpartum mental health. And there's a lot of stigma around it, but we want to answer your questions. So if you have any questions or if you want to share your journey, this is a safe space here. We are all a team of lactation providers, and so we are here to listen, and we're here to answer your questions. We also have a private email, and that email is lc@kiinde.com. Again, LC for lactation consultant at kiinde.com. So if there's anything off the show tonight that you want to share, if you want to share your story, if you want to ask a private question, please do not hesitate. We are here to help you, and we want to be there for you during this journey. So please email us. But in the meantime, my name is Brianne, and I've kind of never really formally kind of talked about my story. So I'm just going to kind of give you a clip. I have two boys, a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I've actually nursed my entire motherhood or pumped. And so I currently am pumping. My 2-year-old doesn't really like to nurse that much, but I'm holding on and still pumping for donation. And I've done everything from exclusively nursing to exclusively pumping, had everything from clogged ducts to mastitis. Traveling, I've traveled all over the U.S. to every military base there is while pumping and traveling. So I'm excited as we, develop into our months ahead to really kind of share my story with weaning. It's been a tough journey. There were tears shed earlier, and we'll get into that. But so that's me, and I love what I do. I'm a lactation counselor, a CLC, and so I love being able to provide moms with the education and direction they need to meet their goals. So whatever those goals look like. So I want my team to kind of introduce themselves. Tonight, we're going to have with us Tess, Aaron, Kristen with a Y, and Kristen with an I, and Dominique. And so these are the people we're going to start to bring on to our show. We may pop in and out some of our other team members, but this will kind of be our core group. So I'm going to start by introducing Kristen A, and she has been amazing, and I cannot thank her enough for all of her hard work that she pours into Kiinde. And so I'm going to let her kind of introduce herself. Hello, Kristen.
Hi.
Feel free to kind of share your kids, your story, whatever you feel comfortable with.
So I am the customer service manager here at Kiinde. So if you got problems, you're going to be talking to me or my team, who is fabulous. I love them all. You're not going to get anything but amazing service from us because we love you guys. I have 3 kids. I had 3 kids in 3 years. So postpartum is real, y'all. It lasted for years and years because I was either pregnant and or nursing for 6 years straight, I think. I had 2 boys and a girl. My girl is a little princess. My boys are rambunctious and crazy, and we live a crazy life here. And we have a lot of help. Like, that is a huge thing, is support. So I'm lucky enough to have a lot of support. I am also a CLC, and I am going back to school to get my degree in women's counseling. So I love hearing your guys' stories. So write to me whenever, comment about whatever. I'd love to hear it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen, for that. We love having you on our team. We're so excited for all, the stories you're going to share and your expertise. Next, I want to bring on Tess. Tess is, well, I'll let her introduce herself, but Tess, can you show your stuffies?
Oh, yes, I can show.
So Tess came on with us tonight, and again, we're just getting real, and she pulls out stuffed animals from behind her somewhere. And then it became a joke that we all needed stuffies. I don't know about all you, but it's a Monday. It has been a Monday here. My breast milk is starting to deplete.
It has been.
I have been sad.
So the bees came around because I'm in my daughter's room, which, as you can see, we have signs that say, I love cake. So,
I love cake.
But anyway,
I love cake too.
Yes. It's so necessary. So I'm Tess. I have 2 little girls. My oldest daughter is 8 and my youngest is 6. She's about to be 7 this summer. So I actually started my journey as a younger mom at about 25, 26 years old. So that was Layla. She's my oldest. And then she was just about a year old when I actually found out that I was pregnant with my youngest, Stella, who's now going to be, like I said, just about 7. So I'm actually in Layla's room, and these are all her stuffies, and this one smells like cotton candy.
I
Really,
know.
many moms with girls.
Mine smells good too, though.
It's all about
Yes.
where it's at right now.
Yes.
Is all these cotton candy smelling animals. But yeah, so I actually started my journey with into lactation with my second, with Sally, my little one, because I noticed that all my friends were coming to me for lactation advice. So I became a breastfeeding educator, and then I started my journey to IBCLC, which hopefully should be done by next year. We're on the way. We're on the way. So fingers crossed. But yeah. And then as far as postpartum, I had postpartum anxiety with actually both of them, but I wasn't aware of it with Layla. I didn't know that I had it. And then I realized with Stella at about, like, I would say 12 weeks postpartum that something wasn't quite right. Like that feeling of baby blues wasn't going away. And I, sought some counseling with a local church actually that offered a free support group. And they sort of helped me through that that journey, which was amazing. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thanks, Tess, for sharing. Next, I want to, let's see, Erin. So we have Erin with us tonight, and I'd love to introduce to you Erin. Hello, Erin.
Hi.
So you want to tell everybody kind of about yourself and your journey?
Sure. So I'm Erin. I do some social media and affiliates and blogging here. That's my role. So when our blog launches, that'll be for me. And then if you want to know more about the affiliate program, then write something in the comments. I'll tell you about it. But I have 2 kids. I have a 5-year-old and a almost 3-year-old. So my journey obviously started with my 5-year-old. I didn't know anything, as all first-time moms. Even if you think you know something, you know nothing. And really struggled breastfeeding him. Started as an exclusive pumper, and the lactation counselor that helped me with him actually inspired me to pursue a career in lactation. So I started working at WIC as a peer counselor, and I got my CLC. And like Tess, hopefully we'll have IBCLC by the end of next year. So I'm also really passionate about postpartum mental health as someone who's struggled with mental health for a long time, also leading into the postpartum period. So I love sharing my story. I love connecting with other moms, and I'm just really excited to be here tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Erin. Next, we have one of our IBCLCs on staff, and her name is Dominique. And so we are really excited to have her here with us tonight. And Dominique, how are you?
Hi.
You want to share a little bit and tell us your journey and story?
Sure. So first of all, I don't have any loveys because stuffed animals are not allowed in my house. That's
Fair
one of
enough.
our rules. But my kids like wrestling, so I found Rowdy Ronda Rousey, so
Oh,
she's
my
here with us. These are the only stuffed dolls we're allowed to have.
That's
So in
amazing.
case we need to whip anybody in shape, she's here by the laptop. So yeah, my name is Dominique. I am an IBCLC. I've been an IBCLC for the past 5 years now. In fact, I need to recertify. So if you guys don't see me on the show later, you know it didn't work out well for me. But I've been helping moms in some capacity for the past 8 years. I've worked as a nutritionist and peer counselor at WIC, and I've done some volunteer work with La Leche League. And where I'm originally from, they had a grassroots organization called Breastfeeding Mamas, and I did some help there as well. And I've been nursing someone for the past 8 years, and I just weaned my baby in October. I told him that the babies at my full-time gig needed the milk more than him. He was 3. It was time to be done. So, personally, I've never experienced postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, but because of my profession, I help lots of moms with it, rather it be right from the start or later on when they see me outpatient. So hopefully I can share some tips and tricks and insides knowledge to kind of help you guys move through it if anybody's having any issues with it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dominique. We're so excited to have you on board. And then one of my special ladies, she is actually our director of marketing, and she is the brains and brilliance behind a lot of stuff you guys see on social media and through our live shows. And that is our other Kristen, Kristen with an I. And so, hello, Kristen. I'm so
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Brianne, for the intro. My name's Kristen. I kind of manage the whole production behind the scenes. So if you see my eyes go over the screen, I'm either looking at comments or doing something else to kind of, help bring some amazing content your way. Like Brianne said, I manage all the marketing, social media, really all the creative behind the scenes. I have a 4-year-old little girl. She's awesome. Her name's Madison. We've kind of lived all over the U.S. with what my husband does. And me, I'm a CLC. My background's originally in the sports industry, but then, motherhood kind of changes you. And I was inspired by the lactation consultant that I worked with, who really helped me through postpartum because I had pretty bad PPD. And I'll share about my story a little bit later. So, but that's obviously kind of what I bring to tonight's show.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen. So I think I've hit, everybody that's going to join us tonight. One thing I want to share, moms, as we're going to go into our topics and our stories, I want to let you know that you're not, our show tonight is to really show you and let you know that you are not alone, and that postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, weaning blues, all of it does not discriminate age. It does not discriminate time, how far away, things have been. Earlier tonight, I was sharing with the girls that my journey is coming to an end. And so I've had 8 years of being able to provide breast milk for my children and hundreds of donor babies. And it has been a privilege for me to do that. But as my supply dwindles down, having done 8 years, I lost it tonight as things are coming to an end. And so it really hit hard. And I thought to myself, I felt like I was kind of immune from all this because, well, I'm a provider. My youngest is almost 3 years old. So, tonight when you're like, oh, but I don't have a 2-week-old baby, so I don't need to listen to the show. But I'm still having these feelings. So do know that wherever you're at, my son came in tonight, and that's kind of where the stuffy came from. He was like, Mom, you need this in your life. So it has been gotten me through the last couple hours here. But I think, we just want you to know that no matter where you're at in your journey, we're here to help you. So the first thing we're going to talk about tonight is postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. What are they and what to look for? So Erin blogged about this recently for you guys. And so we're just going to kind of have her kind of talk to you guys about what it is and what to look for. And then we'll kind of go into our stories. So Erin, would love to have you start out here.
All right. So all of the signs and symptoms for postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, really any postpartum mood disorder are going to vary between mom to mom. So you may have one of these symptoms, you may have none of these symptoms. One of these symptoms may be really prominent for you, whereas another will not. So just kind of keep that in mind, that it's not an all or nothing kind of a thing. But some of the things that you may experience postpartum, as maybe Tess and Kristen and Brianne have all mentioned, the baby blues. I think we're all familiar with that term. And the baby blues is a super normal. Like after you have a baby, your hormones, you all know as moms, are like a mess. But usually the baby blues subsides after 2 to 3 weeks. So that's where these postpartum mood disorders come in, is going to be if it's continuing on after that 2 to 3 weeks, then that may be the time where you want to talk to your support people, talk to your doctor, talk to a friend and say, hey, these are some of the things I'm experiencing. Do you think we're moving on from the baby blues? And some of the things you may notice is that you have frequent tearfulness, things that used to make you happy aren't making you happy anymore. You're having more sad moments than happy moments. Frustration, anger, rage at things that normally wouldn't make you angry. You can have trouble sleeping. You can also want to sleep all the time. So that's again one of those things that it varies for all moms. You may also find that you just don't feel connected. So maybe to your baby, to your partner, to your friends, you want to stay isolated. All of those things can factor into postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. Some things that may differ for specifically postpartum anxiety can be feeling very worried or fretful, intrusive thoughts, which are thoughts of like scary things or worries that normally wouldn't bother you, that are kind of on another level. And those can be specific to postpartum anxiety. And I think it's important to note that postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression don't always exist together. So you may not be feeling the sadness and the more depressed symptoms, or you, on the other hand, you may not feel the anxious symptoms, and you may feel them both. So that's kind of just an overview.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Erin. So now I guess, we want to hear your stories. So we're going to start talking kind of just about our stories and just starting to chat together. But please feel free to share your story below. You can also share your story to our email at lc@kiinde.com if you'd like to share it privately. Or if there's a question, if you're struggling with something maybe that we've all gone through that we can share about. I really, support is huge. I know for me, that was kind of my lack was support. And so I really struggled with that. And I love, like, even up here, just reading, some of the comments that were made when I shared, my story. And so thank you for the women that, encouraged me. And I appreciate that. But Tess, I'd love to have you share if you're kind of talk about your story. And
Sure. For sure. So I don't really know where to start because I feel like there's so much that goes into it. But with Layla, I definitely had some of that postpartum anxiety, not really sure where to place that emotion. I didn't know much about it. And then when I had Stella, it all kind of came flooding in. And I think it's important to know that my girls are less than 2 years apart. They're actually just about 20, 21, just about in that area, months apart. So when I had my little one, my oldest was barely 2. And I live in a state that's literally surrounded by water. Like you learn to swim here before you learn to walk. So it's water everywhere. I never felt a particular way about water until I had 2 babies in the car by myself. And all of a sudden water became a trigger. And I'd be driving past a lake or past a canal and I would go into a full-blown anxiety attack thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what if I get run off the road? How am I going to save these 2 kids? There's only one of me. One is 2. One is a newborn. Where am I going? It would stick with me for the day, forever. I would dream about it. And that was kind of where I thought to myself, something isn't right because this is consuming me. Every ounce of my body, I was fearful of water. And it wasn't normal, which wasn't normal for me at that point in my life to be fearful of water. So I sought help. First I went to my OBGYN and was kind of my midwife and was like, what do I do about this? And she had recommended a prescription medication, but because I was breastfeeding, I was kind of on the fence about it. And that's just me personally. So I was like, let me find another route, maybe to, kind of find help. So I went on to Google and was like looking up like free postpartum sort of depression, groups. And I found one, like I mentioned, at a local church that met every week, and having that support group and going in every week, bringing my babies along with me and explaining like what my weeks were like, what my days were like, and how I felt so overwhelmed by the littlest things, and other moms saying to me, we feel the same way, you're not alone, was absolutely huge. Like, hey, we get it, we're here too. And one thing I remember was having both girls cry at the same time and not knowing who to go to first. Like, which baby? I have this 2-year-old over here who's screaming my name and this newborn who needs to eat. Where do I go first? Yeah. The counselor had mentioned to me, like, you go to your oldest because she remembers. She's the one who's going to remember. And if anybody, in the comments has two that are, or, multiple children that are maybe, 2 under 2 or anything like that, it was just something that stuck with me, that you go to the child that's a little bit older because they're going to kind of remember. And that helped my heart a little bit so that I could figure, how to deal with the situations as they came to me as a new mom of 2 under 2. I
feel that mom guilt is so real,
so real. And it made me, like, I never really had a depression. It actually made me angry. I became like angry mom. I didn't like angry mom. Angry mom wasn't fun for anybody. Aww. Yeah, no, angry mom we didn't want her around. And that was kind of how my emotions manifested themselves, was fear and then anger. And that was just me personally. But again, having the support group and the ability to talk to people who were going through the same things as me was really what helped.
And I feel like also that have gone through it, like, in this kind of same stages, because sometimes when we talk to like a grandmother figure or a parental figure, we just feel this disattachment as far as like, oh, but you don't understand, it wasn't like that, or like, no, I'm going through it right now. And so having people that are in the same stage, and even like, I feel I still went through the mom guilt, and I had 4.5, almost 5-year age gap, but for 5 years I took my kid everywhere. And now I told him, oh, we can't go on a roller coaster ride because your baby brother. And it was all now having a second kid, it's his fault. But I wanted to love on my little one. And so, that guilt, but having others to know, like, I'm not alone. And then just kind of, when I started going farther into a depression, like what was normal, what wasn't, just really having that support is very huge.
Yeah. And it's even now, I don't have babies anymore. I have kids, they're big kids. But that mom guilt still exists, and that uncertainty still exists. I'm able to take the emotions, and they don't consume me as much anymore. I'm able to work through a problem, but it doesn't, it gets a lot better. But you always have that feeling of like, hey, am I doing the right thing, by these little humans, and am I doing a good job? And we're always just doing the best that we can every day with what we're given. And I think that's really important to remember, that we have to take each day as they come. And they're not always going to be perfect, and they're not always going to look picturesque, and that's okay.
Yep. And if you eat pizza and hot dogs for dinner
every day,
high five. High fives.
Also cake. Hot dogs on Friday night, and pizza on yesterday. Yeah.
And cake for breakfast once in a while.
Of course.
More than once in a while. As often as possible.
And obviously we, healthy eating, but at the end of the day, really like letting it go, and just kind of, if it means like feeding your baby, like nursing your one, or changing a baby's diaper, and then like, oh, they're eating hot dogs. You learn to just, I think, kind of be like, but for moms that have anxiety, you get this overwhelming anxiety that comes with that. Like, I'm not giving my kid the best, and my kid's going to like, have diabetes growing up. And, so it's hard because in one breath you want to be like, hot dogs, it's okay. Yeah. I'm still a good mom. Cake, still a good mom. But when it comes over you, it's a battle. It's literally a mental battle back and forth, and it's not easy.
Well, and you see so much all over the place, people posting their best versions of themselves. So you end up comparing, and you're always going to fall short because no one lives their best life every day.
Chris, thank you for that, Kristen. Yeah. And you know what? We have a Facebook group, guys, and it's called Kiinde Community, and community with a K. And after we're on our lives, we try to, hang out in there a lot throughout the week and chat with you ladies. And I want to encourage you this week, we haven't even talked about this, but I want to encourage you this week to post your worst picture in there. What you think is your worst picture. Post your picture. Post your picture with the dirty diapers all over the place. Post your picture with the banana peels everywhere. Post your dirty dishes. Post them. Oh, laundry monsters. Who has one?
A few.
We call it Mount Laundry.
Share pictures of laundry a lot, don't we?
Mount Laundry. Sure. Let's see them. Let's see Mount Laundry. Let's see the dirty toes, the dirt under the fingernails. Post pictures this week. I encourage you. It's a safe space. If you can't post on your public profile because your mother-in-law might have your head, go post in Kiinde Community this week. We'll do a post over in there and post it below in the comments, and we'll choose another winner over there this week as well. But let's see the real life pictures. No Instagram pictures, no Instagram worthy, no filters allowed, no filters, no, just real life. Because I think that is part of our problem with mental health, is that we get so stuck on, we're scrolling and we just see the perfect nursery, the perfect dress, the perfect Easter photo, the perfect whatever, play date. And meanwhile, we're like, play date? Girlfriend, my baby hasn't even left the floor in 2 hours. Like, play date? How am I supposed to get out of the house? I'm still in pajamas from 10 days ago. So we want to, share that realness with each other.
Find the moms who will have the play dates with you in the pajamas.
In your pajamas.
In the pajamas.
And you find your tribe in your pajamas, and you have found your people, and they will.
Guys, I'm going to get real. Pajama bottoms.
Days for the win with your cotton candy stuffies and your
stuffies. Erin, do you have anything you'd like to share as far as your journey?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. I have struggled with depression and anxiety since as long as I can remember. So I'll say probably since at least high school is when it got really, really intense for me. So depression and anxiety was something that was very familiar to me. So I went into postpartum thinking like I would definitely know if I was going to have an issue, right? Like I knew what it was. So when I had my son and my triggers were completely different, that was like, I didn't know what to do. And like Tess mentioned, my anxiety manifested as rage, as anger. Like I would snap at my husband over what at the moment were really big deals, but in the scheme of things were like really dumb. And so it was like, what is happening? And it was like, it was like not even voluntary, or it was like involuntary. It just, my reaction was just so angry over the littlest things, because really it was rooted in fear. So, we know that we have fight or flight, and that's kind of what, when we have a anxiety, that's what we do. We fight or flight. So I went into fight mode. So after my son was born, I kind of ignored that really for his whole first year. I knew it was there, but I just made other excuses for it or whatever. And then when he was a year old, I finally reached out for some help. And my mom is actually a social worker. You may have seen her on the live earlier this month.
Yeah.
So she's my support system, which is really great. And I called her and said, this is too much. What can I do? And she taught me some techniques to to help, which was really, really great. Learning, like kind of like Tess had mentioned, those techniques that you can learn in the moment to make it so that you can recognize that the anxiety is there, you can validate the feeling, but it's not consuming you any
Yeah.
longer makes such a huge difference. So then when I had my daughter, I was prepared. I knew that as soon as I started feeling those feelings that it was time to reach out to my midwife, reach out to my therapist, and do the things that I knew I needed to do to keep my feelings under control. But what was just, what I like to share is that it may be different. If you're somebody that has struggled with anxiety and depression, your risk for having a postpartum mood disorder is then higher. So that's something, not that it will happen, but it's really important to keep that conversation going with your support system. My husband was really great about pointing it out to me, like saying, hey, I'm noticing these things. Are you okay? And it was great for him to, watch that for me and be like, let's call your doctor or whatever. And to know that your triggers may change. None of my triggers were the same. And so I had to kind of relearn what I needed to work with.
For sure. Erin, I think somebody did a post. It may or may not have been you. Did you do a post recently on like how you talk about or how you present your, PPD, your PPA, and mental illness with older children? Did you do a post on that?
I did do a post on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I thought about it tonight. I thought I remembered you doing a post. And so my son had walked into the room, and I'm, supposed to be this strong boss mama, director of operations here, like team leader. And I'm literally like sobbing right here an hour ago, bawling my eyes out. And he walks in, and of course, he has Tuffy Stuffy, and he's like, Mom, a dear friend of ours gave it to us. And he's like, this will make you feel better too. And part of me, he was like, what's wrong, Mom? And part of me wanted to say, like, buddy, mom's good. Like, sorry, I there's no issue here. Like, it's okay. Don't worry about me. And then I stopped and said, buddy, mommy is struggling. Mommy's having a really hard time. And mommy's going through some changes, and mommy just needs to cry. And it's okay. And I'm okay. But right now I'm struggling. And he was like, okay, mommy, well, I think you need a hug. So he gave me a hug and went about his way. But I really wanted to I wanted to put on my face and my hat and be like, no, I'm good.
Right. Yeah. I think
so I'm curious about your article, because I can't remember exactly what you shared about it, but that was my.
Well, I think society tells us our society is very shame-based, right? So any kind of vulnerability is scary. That leads to vulnerability, leads to feelings are scary. So we have this we feel like we have to be strong or super mom or whatever all the time. And I've totally been in that same position where I've been upset about something and my kids have questioned it, and I've said, oh, it's no big deal, wiped my tears really quick, or tried to go cry in the bathroom. Okay, every mom's done that, I know.
Yes.
But for me, the reason I wrote the article I wrote was because I noticed that my son was starting to display some of the same behaviors that I display. So my son had started to repeat some of my negative self-talk. So that was a big wake-up call to me that I needed to address what was going on in a healthier way. So he was, when he was feeling anxious, he was saying, why am I this way? Why am I dumb? Why am I stupid? And that was a big wake up call to me, because it was like literally hearing it out of my mouth, right? It came from my mouth out of his. And so we started talking more about what overwhelming feelings are, why we have overwhelming feelings, and that it's not stupid and it's not dumb and that it's normal. But what are some healthy ways that we can cope with them? So in our home, we do affirmations. So when we're feeling down, when he starts to do that, we say things like, I am smart, I am strong, I am vulnerable, I have a lot of friends, a lot of people love me, it's going to be a good day. Just really simple things that are just reminders of the good things that are going on. And I'll be honest, when I started saying affirmations, I felt like such a liar. In my head, I was like, this is not a good day. I don't feel like I have a lot of people who love me. But the more that you repeat them, they really do become your truth. And then when you do have those moments of either hard times, or somebody says something to you that kind of gets under your skin, maybe, I think everybody has had a husband or a mother-in-law say something that they didn't even mean it that way, but it's kind of like you can grow back to those affirmations. And my hope is doing them with my son, that he will continue to use that coping skill, but also that as he gets older, when he is feeling anxious or if he gets depression, that he can come to me and say, hey, Mom, what can we do? And he sees me take medicine. He sees me do my affirmations. He sees me go to counseling sessions. So my hope is that it will become normal for him, as just as normal as going to his pediatrician for his yearly checkup is.
Awesome. Insertion. She actually shared something post, and I ended up finding out that it was her post. And so, Kristen, do you want to, before we kind of talk about treatments, do you want to share your heart tonight a little bit on the journey?
Sure. Full disclosure, I might cry. Postpartum
okay.
for me.
That's okay.
No joke.
We're here for you, girl.
So, you go into birth and you have these expectations and, your plan of how you envision everything to happen. And, your hope is that happens. Well, basically, I felt like everything that I wanted to happen went wrong. Everything went wrong and not as planned. So I had this big letdown that I felt like I was inadequate. I didn't feel like, like a woman, or like just I didn't feel like enough. So nothing went to plan. So that kind of set me up. It was tough to begin with. I ended up having a C-section. Really didn't want to go that route. And then I really wanted to breastfeed. And so, started out in the hospital. Things just weren't going great. Didn't have great support in the hospital. And just it felt like everything that could go wrong would go wrong. But I was bound and determined to breastfeed our daughter because I felt like that was the only thing I had control over at that point. Because everything with birth just didn't go as I wanted it to. So I just put this really intense pressure on myself to make it go right. And just nothing was going right at all for me postpartum. And it was tough. It was a really rough few weeks. My daughter, she wasn't gaining weight well, so we ended up having a supplement. And when she was about 3 weeks, she wasn't sleeping well at all. Up all the time. We hit 3 weeks and I just hit like rock bottom. I had no appetite. And I wasn't getting any sleep. And I was having really scary thoughts. And that's when I knew I just wasn't myself. And all I wanted to do was just sit around and mope. And I felt like I couldn't enjoy my daughter. And so I called my mom. I cried a lot. And I called my mom and just said, I need you to come down. I called my doctor today and got some medication. It's not going well. And, I was pumping and just still trying to keep my supply up so that in hopes that I could breastfeed. Bad thrush, really, really bad thrush. But just kept my supply going. We're supplementing her. Finally, weight wise, we hit our stride. Like once my mom came down, it was between 3 and 4 weeks. And then right at the end of her visit, there was a night where I didn't have enough pump milk for Madison. And so we fed her full bottle formula. And the next day, Madison it was rough. She's really gassy. And that afternoon, we opened up a diaper and there was like a half cup of blood. No joke. Immediately freaked out. Called her I'm not trying to scare anyone. Our story was rough. Called her pediatrician. And luckily there was a great children's hospital in the area I was in. She said, go there. turns out Madison, looking back, it makes sense why she was so restless. She had really bad milk protein allergy, and because we were supplementing, just with a regular formula, that was affecting her poor little tummy. So we had to, here I was fighting depression, like scared to death in the hospital, and just clinging on to my baby, just like, hey, like not knowing what's going to happen. There ended up being a bomb threat while we were in the hospital too. It didn't help matters.
That's how it always is, though, right? It's like everything that can go wrong
will go wrong. Yep.
So we got through that. I mean, I was still at that point. I still wanted to breastfeed her. I was bound and determined. Like, I wanted that one thing to go right. I mean, she was 4 weeks old at this point. And so we're in the hospital, the GI doctors came in and they're like, this is the worst case we've seen in this area. And, here's your options. What's great is they were totally supportive of me trying to breastfeed her with a restrictive diet. So there's a special place in my heart for all the mamas dealing with milk protein allergy, any sort of food sensitivities. That's my crew. So, but I just kept pumping and thought through it for a few days. And we got her on an amino acid formula to help heal her gut and help her get through that. Just because poor little kid. I mean, it was just, she was spewing blood. And like, I think back to that time and it scares me. It's scary for like future kids. Like I get really anxious and nervous, like about, will my mind go to this place again? But I think there were so many things with my first few weeks that were just, it was a mountain. And so, my story ends up great. We worked through her allergy. I went very restrictive diet. I was able to breastfeed her for 2 years. She grew out of her dairy allergy at 9 months. So things really turned around once we got back to the hospital. I called a lactation consultant and she came to my house. We worked through some latch things, got my nipples healed, got her latching great. She ended up being a really, champion nurser, which was awesome. And just, with the depression, I got on some meds, and for me, it was really making sure I got out of the house, talking to people, working through the crazy. That was my first 4 weeks, and mentally kind of processing that and moving past that and realizing I can be a great mother. Like, that's not going to hold me back. That's not going to define me. Like, my birth is not going to define me. And
so true.
I can do this, and my baby is not going to look bad at me for what happened, and I'm just going to love her and we're going to move on. So that's my story.
Thanks, Kristen. I know that that's hard, but I hope, in some ways that brings healing into knowing that hopefully another mom out there that's maybe 3 weeks postpartum and really, in the same really low rock bottom place can maybe know that, that there can be a really positive outlook. Getting help is kind of the first step that, I think that leads us into a great place. We have Dominique with us, and she's our IBCLC, and she's going to kind of hit on like treatment and just kind of how to kind of what provider to go to, what steps to take, and just kind of how to navigate that.
Sorry, my husband just came home.
You're fine. Husbands help us out, so they're great.
Yeah. First, before I get into all of that, if it's okay, I would like to say I definitely feel your pain on that milk protein allergy. I've got one of those babies. She has been my spicy child since conception. So it didn't surprise me that she had that issue.
Mine's sassy. She is sassy as could be.
I mean, I had to restrict my diet. I looked great, because I wasn't eating anything.
Right?
So that was the best outcome. I lost a ton of weight. But it was restricted for a really long time. I don't think she had a cup of milk until she was like 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
I nursed her, way longer than my intentions because I was just so nervous to give her anything. So I know that
That's how
that
I was, Dominique. Like, I was
yeah.
really hesitant with solids and
Uh-huh.
really conservative with
Yeah.
spacing them out, and like just stuck to fruit and vegetables before she was one, just because I was like, what if she has another reaction?
Exactly. Yeah. And because it's so scary and it's so hard when you
Mm-hmm.
do elimination diet and you try something or they try something and it's like, what what did
Right.
it, what made it. So it was tough. I mean, obviously after a while it becomes a lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and you get used to it, but I definitely know that pain. Coincidentally though, even with those issues, she was my fattest baby overall. She was 20
Check.
pounds at 4 months old, so I
Oh,
know
look at that. Wow.
she was eating. She was sucking it all out of me because she wasn't getting it anywhere else. But I do, once we got her like on track, then it's like the clouds spread and the sun came out and it was all better. So I guess I just say that even though it wasn't, like I didn't have like the stress or anxiety tied to it, but I just want to say I definitely feel your pain. It's definitely tough. Trying to navigate it, figure it out, because I can just eat whatever the heck I want. I
Right.
don't have to worry about anything. And then it's tough to navigate it with this little baby that doesn't have words for you. All they do is just scream if it's not working, and they're happy when it works. And it's hard to navigate. Are you screaming because your belly hurts? Or are you screaming because you're a baby and that's just what you do? So I definitely feel you on that, but I'm glad you were able to get through it and found a support circle to help you out with that too.
Thank you.
Sure.
You're welcome. So I guess now I'm going to put my IBCLC hat on. My hat. And working with moms, I would say if you are a professional, like was said earlier, the signs don't always look the same with every single mom. It manifests differently. Just not giving any names out, but just from my career experience, I've had moms that needed control over something, and it's usually something that theoretically you have no control over, but they're trying to control it and they're getting anxious because they can't control it. So that's usually a red flag for me. I'm like, why do you need to hold on to this aspect of whatever it is? So I always make notes, and that triggers me to ask more deeper questions about their day. If I have a mom that is not sleeping at all, not because the baby is not sleeping, but if she tells me that she can't even sleep when the baby sleeps when she has help, that is concerning to me. Rapid weight loss or rapid weight gain. I make note of that too. And not to be judgy, but, sometimes, again, depression, they could be fine otherwise, but they're not eating now, and they're losing weight dramatically. And I keep note of that, when we have visits, it's like, you looked a little bit bigger. How was your, before than you do now? How's your diet? What are you eating? Things like that. And if she says, oh, I haven't been eating, or I don't have time to eat, then again, that's like a red flag for me. And I just make notes for that. And that just triggers me, not directly to start quizzing her, because then that's when they get on the defensive, because now it's like, oh, you're trying to figure out something's wrong with me. So I just periodically ask, you just throw a random question in there. What'd you have for dinner last night? Something, like that. And usually it comes out. If I have a mom that calls me for an appointment, and the first thing she does is come into my office and cry before anything starts, that's an obvious red flag that something's going on. And that's happened several times. And a lot of times we don't even get to the breastfeeding aspect because we're working through that. So I guess if you're a professional and you read the books and you look at the definitions and it says these are all the things that, define it. Those are just some of the things, some of the obvious things. But some people, manifest it differently than others. And it's important to kind of look for those things. And you don't necessarily have to tell the mom you are looking for those things. But just kind of look for those things when you're talking to them about their baby. And also, too, another thing I notice is either the over connection or not so much of a connection with the baby. Sometimes dad will say, I do everything. All she does is feed the baby. But if it's in a negative light, then I know something's, going on there. Why does mom not want to help or take care of the baby? If I have a family member or the mom say, the family member's like, she won't let anybody do anything for the baby. Or if the mom says, I don't want anybody touching my baby. Is that bad? I smile, but that triggers me to ask more questions, because it is natural to have that mama bear instinct, but sometimes it can be, something else going on, like some kind of anxiety that she doesn't want anybody to touch her baby for some odd reason. So those are some things to look for.
And now, Dominique, so let's say the mom comes and she's meeting with lactation consultant. Where does she kind of go from there? Where does a lactation consultant send her? Or should she reach out to someone else directly first, just for treatment, as far as provider is concerned?
So I always ask moms who their main provider is, or general care practitioner, or their OB. If they're just seeing their OB, I offer to reach out to their OB if I feel like something's going on, or I just encourage them. I keep it as part of their care plan. So we go through the breastfeeding aspect, and we have the plan for the baby. And then also in there under mother, I'll say, check in with your OB and let them know the feelings of anxiety you have, or your feelings of depression, or your feelings of not sleeping, so that if need be, they can prescribe something. I know a lot of times the OBs on my particular unit will also set the appointment with the moms for our group here called Respond, and that's just for all mental health, but they see postpartum mothers too. So they'll see her, and then they'll also encourage her to go see our counselors through the Respond, and they do a little bit more of a deep dive. The OB may prescribe some anti-anxiety or antidepressant, or a medicine that does a combination of both. They're commonly known as SSRIs. That kind of help with the uptaking of the extra chemicals that's causing these reactions. So I always recommend, if you can go see anybody, really. Tell anybody if you're having these feelings. It really honestly doesn't matter, because what they're going to probably tell you to do, if they're not your doctor anyway, is to call your doctor, or they will call your doctor for you. I've had some moms that they are just so anxious, they just could not muster the strength to call. And so I called for them. I have no problem doing that. So, if you're having certain feelings and you can't call, just reach out and have someone call as well. In Virginia, we have this wonderful support group called Postpartum Support Virginia, and they're everywhere. The support group. So usually too, I put that in the mom's care plan. We also have Birth Matters Virginia, whom some Birth Matter circles do grief circles too. If it's postpartum depression surrounding your birth, i.e. like an unplanned C-section or a traumatic delivery, to kind of help you work through with other mothers, or sometimes they bring counselors in to help with that as well. So I usually just put it all in the care plan of where to go, who to talk to, and then I usually check up with the mothers like a few days later, just to make sure things are still going okay.
Awesome, yeah. And I think too, while we can't talk about specific medications, I do want to encourage you moms to just kind of know that there are medications that are safe for breastfeeding. So it is not a one or the other. You don't have to be like, well, if I go to the doctor, then that means I have to give up breastfeeding. I think it's just being open with your provider that you are breastfeeding and that is your goal, so that they can align the medications properly. But there are options for you.
And there's several options.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
just like one thing, and if it doesn't work, you're done. There are so many options. And also too, if it's one of those kind of iffy ones, work with your lactation consultant, because they can tell you how to breastfeed, tell you some tips that you can do to keep the relationship going breastfeeding, but you can also take your medicine as well so that you can feel like yourself again.
Yeah, awesome. Anybody else have any comments, from our team on just kind of treatments or providers or self-care that kind of got you through?
I think self-care is like a huge thing. What I did a lot of journaling. I think being able to speak through, to be able to write through what you need to, helps a lot. It helps to process your thoughts. It helps to get that self-talk, going, to say, you are good enough. You are a great mom. It doesn't matter the problems that you're having. You can do this. Everyone has been a new mom at one time.
Sure.
Nobody knows what they're doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm like too deep, and I'm like,
Yeah. One thing that got brought up at our last live earlier this month that I wanted to just hit on one more time was be who you were before you were a mom. And find that thing, whether it's you wore big dangle hoop earrings, or you wore heels, or you were, you did ballet, or you played the piano, or you read a book, or whatever. Find that one thing. It might be something you put on. It might be something you do. It might be something you say, or whatever. But keep that going. Maybe you don't do it for the first 6 weeks or a month or couple months, but once you kind of get over that period, get back into that thing. So before, I was college and I was career and I was a dancer, ballet, tap, jazz, you name it. And I got out and became a mom, and I felt like I was like two different people, and I felt like I lost my identity. And that added to a lot of my mental health, postpartum mental health issues. Once I got back into that, and it was just a 30-minute dance class. That's it. Once a week. I felt selfish at first, but I reminded myself the whole oxygen mask thing. I have to put on mine first before I can take care of my babies. I'm better because I took 30 minutes. I'm better because I took an hour date night with my husband. I'm better because I left my baby for 1 hour with a safe provider to go out. And I'm better because of it. And it's okay. So find that thing, find that passion. It could be at home, it could be away, it could be wherever it is. Makeup, put on some makeup one night and go to bed with it on. Just find that thing that makes you who you were before.
It's so true.
Yeah, so true. And I think it's so important. Like, I see so much about and I mean, like, for me personally, this is really good self-care. Like, I love the spa. Okay. Like, I can get a pedicure, a massage, give me a bath bomb, right? I'm good. But like, that is not self-care for everyone, right? For somebody else, self-care might be cooking dinner or getting outside, riding a bicycle, reading a book. So it's important to, like, you see, like, especially, like, I know we talk about a lot, like, social media, right? We want to do what everybody else is doing or feel like we're part of the crowd. And so, like, sometimes, like, really, like spa-y self-care is on social media a lot. But if that's not what your self-care looks like, that's okay. Like, if your self-care is going to see your therapist, please do it. If your self-care is, I don't know, sitting in a dark room. I do meditation. That's something that I do, and I can do, it's 15 minutes. It can be done anywhere, but it doesn't. Your self-care and your sister's self-care and your best friend's self-care and my self-care don't have to be the same.
It's very true.
And they shouldn't be.
And it all depends on your personality and stuff too.
Totally.
Like, I am very introverted. So to be honest, the fact that I am sitting here talking to you guys is like crazy for me. I remember when my oldest was a baby, he would get up and we would have like serious quiet time. Like, I would not put on any music. I would not put on anything. Like, no, nothing. I just sat, I had a cup of coffee, and it was quiet. That was it. And I loved it.
See, and I'm the opposite. I'm an extrovert. So for the first like 6 months of my son's life, I didn't see anybody. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? I started going to events and I'm like, here I am. Like, I need people, It's like, so do, like Brianne was saying, do the things that make you happy. Being a mom, nothing is an inappropriate mom activity. If you enjoy it and you're a mom, it's a mom activity.
Yep. Yvonne said the makeup made me tear up. Yvonne, go put makeup on. Girlfriend, go put on some red lipstick. Go put on some like mascara. I don't have that much on from Rose crying before, but go put it on right now. It's 10:30. You can wipe it off in 30 minutes. Go leave it on for a half hour. Take a selfie. Look pretty. Do what you need to do.
Go do your hair, wrap it up, and it'll be good for the morning.
Oh, and look at Kristen's hair tonight. Everybody see Kristen's hair? Her girl, spicy.
I watched it.
Yay!
That's self-care right there. Washing your hair.
Hair wash.
True story.
I love it. Having adults to talk to your kids' football game. That's great self-care.
True.
Love it. Love
So
all the
true.
self-care ideas. So true. Awesome. Well, anything else we are going to, I know we've gone over, but we kind of started late. So I just kind of went with it tonight. And we'll get this down here, but we're going to do our giveaways. Kristen, if you want to send me the winners. Tess, do you want to add anything in? Tess, nothing?
Okay. Pretty much covered all the bases.
Awesome. So ladies, again, we're going to announce our winners here. Remember, we have Kind Community with a K. So go in there, join that. We've launched Team Kind, which is our affiliate program. It is launched to the masses. So please join that if that's of interest to you. Like our post, share our post. There is a mom somewhere, I promise you, on your Facebook page that needs to see this video tonight. So please share it. And ask questions below. Dominique and our team are going to all be answering any of your lactation, breastfeeding, pumping questions. So please post them below. And then you can also email lc@kind.com. So lc@kind.com. Spa days with $200 bathing suits. Yes, that is excellent self-care.
Hey, there's something Dominique's gonna bring up really quick. Put her IBCLC hat back on.
Go for it. Change the hat.
That's all right. So I very quickly, I know we're getting ready to end the show, but I also wanted to bring up a different situation. It's called DMER. Usually you'll see it written D-MER. And it stands for dysphoric milk ejection reflex. And so it's a phenomenon that happens where the mother gets very anxious and depressing feelings when her milk lets down for her baby. And it kind of sticks around for the beginning part of the feed, and then it just goes away. So moms sometimes say that they feel sad, but not all the time, just sad when they're feeding their baby and they don't know why. As far as I know, there's no genetics behind it. I don't think you need to previously have dealt with depression or anxiety before in order to have this phenomenon. As far as I know as well, it's not unique. Like you won't have it across all babies. It's just like PIH. You'll have it with one baby and you won't have it with the other. But so I don't think it's technically categorized as postpartum depression because it only happens with the letdown. But some women say it's, they can feel anxious or kind of sad, but sometimes it really, pulls them down and they don't know why. So I will link a website in the comments about it. But generally, if it's really, really bad, again, they have medications that you can take that are safe for breastfeeding. But sometimes I tell moms, which is really bad because I know a lot of people say when you're nursing your baby, get off of your phone and engage with your baby. But my moms that are suffering with DMER, I tell them, get your phone, get on Facebook, get on Instagram and scroll because it distracts you. And then you're not thinking about the letdown with your baby. Get a book. or talk to your spouse or your partner during that time, or walk around, something that distracts your mind so you're not focusing on that letdown. And generally it passes after the first half of the nursing session. So usually distraction helps, but sometimes some moms do need like a low dosage of an SSRI, and that's totally fine too, to kind of help get through it. But I just wanted to, I'm sorry to go over, but I just wanted
thank
to,
you for that. That's a
yeah,
huge
I wanted to
one.
alert moms to that, because sometimes it's not all the time. It's not an all the time sadness or an all the time anxiety. It's only unique to them breastfeeding. And sometimes they blame the breastfeeding. I mean, I guess technically it is the breastfeeding's fault, but it's not their fault that it's happening. It's just a phenomenon that happens with your body. But like I said, I will link information in the comments if somebody is dealing with this.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few moms actually recently that have struggled with this, and you can really see it as a provider from the outside. One specifically, I had a mom who was, nursing, and like literally just like, if she was like, I felt like I got touched out. I just wanted my baby like off. She was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh,
Yes.
get it off, And and she obviously thought something was wrong with her. And so, I think I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think that's huge. And especially, it can be very frightening for the mom. Like, how do you go to someone and be like, I cry when I feed my baby?
Right, exactly.
I want to rip my baby off my breast when my
Exactly.
baby, So it's really hard to like come and talk to a provider about that if you think it has to only be me. No one else can go through this. I'm the only crazy one.
Yep. And it's weird too, because it's like you love your baby any other time of the day. But when it comes to feeding, it's like, get away.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of times due to society and just kind of our nature, it's like we associate that feeding with our level of how we are as a mother. And so unfortunately, then that can bring its own depression and anxiety with it if you are struggling to feed your baby, the one thing we're, asked to do from our child. So, I think, listing those resources there is huge. So thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Again, thank you everyone for joining and dealing with the technical difficulties with us tonight, and hearing our hearts and hearing our stories. The good, the bad, and everything kind of in between. And again, there'll be a link below for our starter pack, so all of our moms can get one of our sample packs tonight to go ahead and try out our system with our milk storage pouch. And Kristen, our director of marketing, is going to grace us with some amazing winners tonight.
Okay, let me organize a few things. I'm going to pop some fun pictures on the screen so you can see what you're winning. First, we're going to announce the winners of the newbie box, the newbie nurse box. You'll find our breastfeeding starter pack featured in there, along with some other great breastfeeding items. Newbies also offered a discount code for everyone tonight, so that's going to be Kiinde for any of their other boxes. Make sure you go give them some love on all their pages, go to their website, check out all their different boxes that they offer. So drum roll, winners are Rachel Castello. You're going to get one of these boxes. Yay. And then Ashley Mason.
Ashley. Oh, I saw her. Yes.
Yeah.
Yay,
so,
Ashley. I saw her name pop up.
You'll be winning the newbie nurse box that they just launched a week ago. So super exciting.
Congratulations, ladies. Super exciting. I see some fun stuff in there. Oh, super exciting.
Next, we have partnered with the Tit for Tot app. It's a lot of fun breastfeeding and pumping emojis that you'll get on your phone. You can share with friends using text messages. Super fun. Winners of that are Yvonne Hole. I'm not even going to try to say your last name.
Oh, yes. I see her name. Yay. Congratulations, Yvonne.
And then Christine Edmiston.
Oh, she was the only person that could see me in the beginning. Yay.
So you both are going to win that. Everyone, please email support@kiinde.com and we will get you hooked up with the what you've won. And
let's do a gift set tonight.
Okay, we can do a gift set. Let's
do a gift set. Let's do a gift set for all of you mommies. We're going to give you guys a gift set. Let's see.
How about Beth Dorsky?
Beth Dorsky, tonight you're going to win one of our entire system of our breastfeeding gift set, twist gift set. So Beth, please reach out. Well, ladies, it has been fun. It has been exciting. It has been heartwarming to come to you tonight. And I just want to thank each and every one of you and remind you that you are strong. And even when you don't feel you are, and I want you to encourage you to post your real life pictures this week. Reach out to our lactation team. We are here to help you in any way that we can, whether it be with postpartum mental support or mental health support or breastfeeding, pumping questions, anything we can provide resources for. Pregnancy, birth, and beyond. We are here to help you here at Kiinde. So again, thank you to all of my team for joining us and going on this adventure with the boob. And so we'll kind of evolve here as the weeks go on. Kristen, our next show, do we have that date?
Let me pull that up really quick.
Would it be June 3rd?
June 3rd.
June 3rd, and then of course June 17th as well. So June 3rd and June 17th. And our entire team will actually be together around the 6th and the 7th of June. So we might do a little small thing there as well. So we have a lot of stuff coming up in June. Do we have our topic for the month?
We're talking about safety.
Safety.
Safe sleep, car seat safety, baby proofing, things like that.
So yeah, so get your questions ready on safety. We'll bring you lots of experts to help answer your questions from a car seat tech and all different kind of expert advice on those areas of safety. So get your questions ready and we'll see you guys next month. And thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye-bye.